Good, good. Well, welcome everybody. This is nice. Friday of spring break. You never know. People are busy, but some people have time that they didn't have before. So we'll see who we end up with today. But it's fun to have all of you here, and it's always fun to have any of my sisters-in-law here. I love that Amy's able to do this, pop on and join us. So that's fun. Any of you that are in Utah, remember that you can look up Aspen Winds, right?
Yeah, and actually we're doing a free family show on April 17th in Cottonwood Heights. So it'll be fun. We just practiced it. We're doing Ugly Duckling and Ferdinand the Bull. It's called Barnyard Animals. So it's a cute little show.
That sounds
Hey,
super
I was
fun.
actually, oh, hey, Amy, I was going to ask you because we went to BYU for something and I saw a poster that had free concerts at some music hall on BYU,
Yeah.
but I didn't know where that was at because I know the HVAC is torn down and that you guys moved to new music building.
Do you
so
know
I'm
where
like,
the law
where
building
am I
is?
going?
Do you know where the law building? Yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Okay, it is in the parking lot of the law building. That's where they built it.
Okay.
So if you just go to the law building, it's on the east side of the law building.
Okay.
And yeah, and once you get in there, you'll be able to find the concert hall because it's in the very middle of the building.
Oh, good. So I took a picture and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go to some of those.
I know. Mahler, they're playing Mahler 1 next Friday and Saturday, which it's one of my favorite symphonies. It's just fun. It's a cool piece. So I highly recommend going. It'll be good.
That's awesome. I love that you share those things, Amy. I probably should see if you'd be willing to share those on that Teach Our Own Hearts Facebook group, just so that they have access to that.
I could do that. Yeah, sure.
Because there are multiple moms that live in Utah and would be able to take advantage of that resource. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to my daughter, Sarah, this morning. She called from Copenhagen. She was sitting right there by the river, and she was just kind of going through her week and telling us about all of her adventures. And, Lindsay Bunting is there with her, Lindsay and her daughter, Sarah, and then Sarah's friend, who's her traveling companion, her friend Bree. So they've just been having an incredible week in Denmark, and they went to Sweden for just a day. And they've just seen all kinds of things. And I loved hearing her talk about her approach to this. She was saying that she didn't want to pack her week full of all kinds of things and feel like she had to get through a checklist of things. She wanted to have a loose schedule of things she wanted to bump into, but she also wanted to be able to wander around and come upon things. And I love that. And I loved hearing some of the stories of things that just happened because they were willing to approach it like that. And I wonder how that would work for us if we did a little bit more of that in our lives, planned kind of generally, but then allowed for something like the Spirit to guide and direct the things that we did and the things that we run into, the experiences we have. Anyway, it just made me think about that. And I thought, my days go better when I do that. So I don't know. Any thoughts?
I don't have a thought to go along with that, but I have something I'd like to share. So for Easter, I didn't know what to do for my kids, but I decided to get on the simple art, and I don't have a color printer, so I sent some pictures to a print shop to print. So I just want to show which ones I printed out and why. Let me turn my camera around a little easier. So I'm in the other room, so my kids don't see them yet. So I printed off some pictures for me, just of a mom holding a sleeping baby. And then this one reminded me of my daughter. And then my youngest son, a 2-year-old, he likes dogs, and he saw that one. So I printed that one out for him. And then my daughter and I both love this one. It's in the Book of Delights, I think, book 1. And so I'm excited. And then this one reminded me of my 2 sons. And even my youngest son, when he was pointing, I pointed to the first. I said, who's the bigger one? And he pointed to his brother. And then I pointed to the younger one. He's like, who's that? And he pointed to himself. And then he saw this one and he pointed to the baby. the 2-year-old, and pointed to himself. And then I said, well, who's that? And he pointing to the mom, and he pointed to me. So it was really cute. And because of those fun things, I decided to make an Easter tree. Well, I bought this little Easter tree at dollar store, and then I sent these pictures to the same print shop and laminated them and made little ornaments. I taped paper clips to the back. So those are the fun things. Let me turn the camera back around. Here's my camera thing. Those are the fun things I've done this week, and I can't get my camera to turn back around. There we are. So those are the fun things I've accomplished this week. I'm excited.
I love it. I love it. And I love that you had the idea and you did it. You went with that and you created something that obviously connected your children to those paintings. I love that, Mary. I think that's a great idea. And to do the pictures for Easter too. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, anybody else? Things they want to share? Things they came with that they want to talk about? If you don't, that's okay too. I love that Laura's just out walking. There we go.
It is. It's a lovely morning. I wanted to share along the same lines as Mary. Yesterday, I decided to make, stop looking so I can talk, like story rocks, but with the Easter story. And I wanted to do them with like a marker, but I met my in-laws and they didn't have any markers, and I debated going to the store, and I ended up just painting them. And it was such a tender moment because it took a lot more time and detail. And then my children interacting with them as I was painting them, it was just a really neat experience that I hadn't planned on, but it turned into a nice teaching moment. And now they have the rocks all lined up. I keep asking, what's the order, Mom? So it's turned into a neat moment of teaching that story that I hadn't planned on. And then I had the time of just kind of slowly painting them, and that was good for my soul. So thanks, Mary, for sharing your ideas, because I wasn't going to share that, but no, that was very heartwarming. There's a big truck coming, so I'm going to mute.
I love it. I think that's so sweet. And I love that there was beauty in slowing down and doing something that took that kind of time. We've talked about that here too. And I think we have to be reminded often that there is something so good about slowing down and just being, for me, I think it helps me. It makes me feel more present in the moment. So I like that. Seven liked that too. She gave you a thumbs up, Laura. And she loved Mary's ideas too. It's nice to have her with us. I don't know if you ladies know, but she's got a pretty new baby. So her hands are full when we meet on Fridays. So it's just nice to have her there in the background listening and soaking up all the good stuff. So. Okay, any other thoughts? I'm checking. I'm just making sure that we don't have people who aren't able to get in. I had a couple new people message me this morning saying that they were going to try to get on today. They just didn't know what today was going to bring. So I understand that. I remember those days. Oh, I remember. So we have a new grandbaby. We had our little granddaughter born, a third grandchild born this past week. Well, it was a week ago Thursday. So that's been fun, super fun for us. I'm so excited because we leave Sunday and we get to fly up there and be there for the baby blessing and see those babies. And then my husband and father-in-law fly back home, and I get to stay up for a while and play grandma. So my 2-year-old granddaughter is up there, and then the new little baby girl. So That's going to be so much fun. I just love that. So I'm going to cook for everybody and then play with the babies. And anyway, it'll be super fun. And just yesterday on the phone, my 2-year-old granddaughter, she's learning 2 languages. So she's bilingual. She's learning Portuguese and English. And that tends to cause them to be a little delayed in their speaking because they're managing these 2 languages. And I'm trying to keep up with some Portuguese so I know what she's saying, because some words she uses the English word and some she uses the Portuguese word, and I don't know. But she has her grandparents from Brazil are visiting right now, and they've been able to be there for this past week and a half, and they are very different names for grandma and grandpa us and grandma and grandpa Brazil. So that's kind of fun to hear her, and she can say those names, and it's like vovó and vovô are grandma and grandpa, and those have been pretty easy. But just yesterday she said grandma, so that was so fun. It was just so fun to hear her talking to me and say grandma. So anyway, I'm in my little heaven here, just playing grandma. So my life is just feels so good just with that. All the other problems kind of melt away when you have something warm and wonderful that you're feeling. I love that. I love that reminder that bringing in beauty and those good things really help to offset other things that are going on. And then Laura and I, for those of you, most of you have reached out and said something about this, but for Laura and Lindsay and me, we get a temple in our city. And that is just amazing. Laura, you and I haven't talked about that yet. I've talked to your girls about it, but
Hey, you're making me cry.
Mhm.
Ah, so excited.
Yeah. So Laura's husband's a stake president. And what did he ask us to do? 2 stake president, 2 stake count.
He asked us to prepare for a temple in Bakersfield, specifically to get yourself ready if you don't have a temple, recommend to do what's necessary to get one, and then do family history work and go to the temple and just turn your heart towards that work. And then we fasted and prayed every month. I think it was only 6 months, right? Yeah, 2 general state conferences for a temple. So, so exciting. So exciting. It's going to be such a blessing to our whole community and to the saints in Bakersfield.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I can hardly wait. I know it'll be like, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, but
yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, I know. It started. It's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, we're getting ready to start hearing a lot more temples announced. I think there's going to be, just like the prophet said, there are going to be so many miracles. We have been seeing them already. At least I feel like that. Don't you feel like heaven is just raining down miracles these days?
Absolutely. And I think we're just beginning to see temples dotting the earth. Just beginning.
Yeah. It was fun talking to your girls about that, because they were saying, how can there be that many places, that still need a temple? And I think that's kind of sweet, because it'll be fun to see what happens as these next few years go by.
Yes. Yeah, it will be. Okay, I have something well-educated heart to share.
Yeah.
So we're up at my in-laws' house this week and last week. We just hit 2 weeks being up here, and we came up here. They live up by Mount Shasta, and we came up here to babysit. I have a sister-in-law who could not have children. After 10 years, they adopted this little boy with fetal alcohol syndrome. They didn't know how bad it was at first, but now he's 6, and my sister-in-law's never had a break, and he's extreme. He's really, really hard. And so when they were going through the adoption process, they found out the mom was pregnant, and so they halted everything until the second baby came, and they got both these babies that are really close together. And then when she got the second baby, she found out she was pregnant. And so she has these 3 babies that are now 6, 4, and 4. And she's never had a break from them ever. And it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of work for anybody to help. And so I have teenage children, and we were up here for Thanksgiving, and they were a lot of very helpful for her. And so we went home, and my husband and I decided that we would give her a week break. And so she lives 6 hours north from my in-laws. We live 12 hours south. So we met at my in-laws, and they dropped the kids off and went back home, just her and her husband, and got a week of just the 2 of them. And I was really nervous about that week because I knew it would be really, really hard. But we spent our days going for walks, and we just get a piece of cardboard that it was in my father-in-law's burn pile and some tape, and we just find magic things on the side, things that we loved that were just on the side of the road, or Sam, like, we're in the pine trees. And so they live in a magical place. And so it just going for walks and being outside, even though it was snowing and way cold for my kids, but it made the week so much easier. And he was calmer and didn't have as many episodes as he normally does when he's away from home. And it was magical, just taking our well-educated heart and nature heartwarming. We did a lot of painting, a lot of crafty type things that he could do. And the week went by so fast and so easy. And I'm sure prayer angels around me helped a lot too. But it was just a really neat experience to see him being outside and how calming that was for him, and picking up rocks and sticks. Even though he can't talk, he could get excited about them. And it was just really, it was a neat experience to have that with him, and to know that, hey, nature really does warm our hearts and bring us happiness and calming and just wonderful things. Oh, just thought I'd share.
I'm so glad you did. I've had so much fun watching the videos your girls have sent me through the week of playing with their cousins. And what a great thing for those 2 teenage girls to be involved in. Well, and your teenage son, your oldest son, to be involved serving in that way and helping. I wonder if it'll become an annual thing that you guys do.
I hope so. That's my intent. We'll see what the future holds, but that's what I would like to be able to do for her. So we'll see.
What a sweet gift. But I love that nature brought so much of that goodness that you experienced this week. So I think we forget that these simple things can make our lives easier. And I don't know any of my friends who wouldn't want their lives to be a little bit easier. You know, it doesn't take away all the responsibilities, but it does bring some joy. And I don't know, what are all the things? I mean, what is it that we feel when we choose to bring those things into our lives? How is it that it changes things? Because you still have to do the laundry, you still have to make meals, you still have all of those things. So what changes?
I guess in part it gives you a break from those things.
Sure.
You get to see just the beauties that God has created rather than focused on man-made things in our own little house.
Yeah, the piles that we've created.
Yeah, the chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really good, Melanie. I think a little break, just here and there. I was just talking to my husband about this app that I have on my phone that I like, that I'd forgotten about. And I've gotten back to it, and it's just a Pomodoro app, you know, so it's just that concept of a little timer built onto your phone, and it sets you up to do work on a project for 25 minutes, and then a timer goes off to give you a 5-minute break, and then it starts again, 25 minutes and a 5-minute break, and it just does that 4 times, so it gives you 2 hours of, you know, being productive. in my stage of life, right? That works for me. But I was thinking about this idea of, I wonder if, like, I don't know, at least once an hour, maybe a couple of times an hour, we stopped whatever it was we were doing with all our little ones, and we walked outside. We just went and did a little mini, you know, what can we find or something, and just took a little break. Not just them, but us too, to have that little, like Melanie said, just a little break from what we're doing and the things that we're working on. If that would be refreshing for us, I think we might find that.
It's really
Um,
interesting for me to see that when I spend a lot of time in the house day in and day out, then the kids don't want to go outside. But if I go out thinking I'm just going to pull weights for 10 minutes and then come in, the kids can follow me and just rediscover how wonderful it is to be outside. And then they play outside all day for days.
Yeah, it's interesting how even children forget that outside is wonderful, huh? Yeah, I love that you brought that up, Melanie. Okay, other thoughts, other topics? Anything else you guys want to run around to? I just uploaded all the latest Friday Zoom meetings too. There's some wonderful things you ladies have talked about over the weeks and months, and it's kind of nice to go back and look at those. Barry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so yesterday, because we're here in Utah, and we got a lot of snow dumped on us on Monday and Tuesday, I think. And then Thursday, so yesterday was Thursday, yeah. So we went outside. We're gonna go for a walk. We live, so we live near kind of this walking trail. And last April they had a tree planting thing. So we helped plant a tree. So now we call it our tree. So we're gonna go for a walk to go see how our tree was doing. But then there was some road construction on the street, the way to get there. And I brought little camping chairs, like little tripod chairs to sit on, so we could draw pictures of our tree and draw pictures of nature. But no, we used the chairs to watch the construction vehicles. But that was fun too. The kids loved it, and it was fun to see. You know, just so they were fixing a sewer line that looked like from the trucks, we could tell. And so we're watching the little machines go around, and my you know, we heard how they beep when they move, and that's helping my little 2-year-old. Now he's playing with the truck and going beep beep, and that's progress for him. And so yeah, we were outside as we're walking back. I said I'd called my friend on the way out there, and I was like, we were outside for 2 hours. We went over to a park that's by there too, and we walked over there and they played, and it was really, I was surprised how many people were at the park, but it was finally warm enough you could, even though there was some snow on the playground, anyway, the kids had fun, and it was just really good. And we're out there for, like I said, for at least 2 hours.
Oh, I think that's so great. Good job, Mary. That's wonderful and so good to take chairs. What a fun mom. I think I was always in a hurry to get back. You know, I think I had to plan the activities more than I was impromptu. At least I don't know, parts of the time. I think I was good parts of the time and not as good other parts of the time. But I love that you went and sat, and it ended up being just watching trucks. Laura has one that would have just absolutely been in heaven, sitting and watching the big trucks moving, doing anything. So that's so fun. And I love that you have your tree and that the kids have connected with that too. So what a fun thing, and a reason to get out and go someplace. So, and I love that you're sharing with people too, because that motivates other people to kind of think, oh, maybe I could do that too.
Yeah, well, when we went there, he's like, my son's like, what kind of tree is this? I'm like, I don't remember, but I have it on my phone because I had videos, and I took a picture of the, you know, the little sign that was on it that's gone now. I don't remember. I think it was a spring. Do you remember what it was, Emmett? Oh, He has a better memory than I do sometimes. It's a what? A spring fling service berry or something. That's what he remembers.
Cute.
And then we watched the video of us, I took a little video of us planting. Well, I couldn't take a video of us planting it because that thing was heavy. I had to like pull it out of the thing, but like them putting the mulch and the dirt over it. We watched a little video of us doing that last April.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, it was fun.
Oh, great. I love it. That's so fun. Good for you guys. That's awesome. And welcome to Sarah. Sarah's back. Good to see you, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Oh, so fun. It's just fun to be able to start getting out, feeling like it is spring, even with the snow. Just so much snow you guys have had, so much. I keep seeing pictures of friends in Utah. Is it still snow, or my missionary? But I remember when Linnell came for her very first time on a Friday. It was the Friday that Jenny Ulrich from 1,000 Hours Outside was on here talking with us. And Linnell was inspired by Jenny saying that, you know, that quote that is, there's no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothing, or something like that, you know. And so she thought, okay, I'm going to try this, because she lives in Minnesota and just had not been outside. She's from Hawaii. Her husband's from Mexico. It's just, it was wintertime and they just stayed inside. So she thought, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go outside for 20 minutes every day. And she made that a goal. And so she outfitted her children with warm enough clothes, and they did it. They started doing it. And now that is her lifestyle, is being outside, getting outside with her children. They even, I don't know if you ladies remember, but they got headlamps for everybody, and they would go on a little adventure to the park and wear their headlamps, and they would go in the evening because it was wintertime, so it was getting dark early. And they'd say, there was nobody at the park but us. We had the park all to ourselves, and their whole family would go and play at the park. So it's just kind of your attitude, right? Your approach to it. I'm just going to get out there and I'm going to have fun. So I loved that. I love remembering about that. Yeah, Sarah.
So we were getting outside this week. We are one of the Utah people. Like, that's our backyard right now. It's like, it's unfinished in the first place. And in the second place, it's covered in snow. So we played in the driveway, and my little like preschooler and toddler refused to come inside. They were having so much fun, just like digging with their little sandbox shovels in the snow. And they helped me shovel the driveway a little bit. And they took their little like dollhouse figurines that were made of plastic, so they're not like going to be damaged by the snow. They took those out there. They just had a blast playing on our concrete driveway surrounded by like piles of snow. And it was super simple, but it worked.
I love it. I love it. And they're getting so big. I just picture you with, you know, your oldest being as old as your baby, and then a little newborn. So, wow.
Yeah, they grow fast. You want to say hi?
Hi.
I have lots of toys at my house.
You do? You are so lucky. That's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Fun?
Hi. Aw, we're going to be shy. How sweet. I love it. I love it. Oh, I love seeing these little people. And I love seeing Laura outside. I just keep looking at that blue sky and those clouds. Oh my goodness. And that you just walked out the door of your in-laws' house, right? You didn't drive anywhere. That's just.
This is where they live. This is where they retired to. They lived in Bakersfield and then retired and moved up here and built a house. And I think they chose a pretty great spot.
Yeah. What is the name of the place they live? I don't remember at the moment.
It's called Etna. If you go up to like Mount Shasta and go north. So technically, like, they do all their shopping in Oregon. And
Oh.
then, so go north from Shasta and then get to a little town called Waurika and go 30 minutes into like this canyon valley thing. It's just beautiful. That's where they live.
Wow. It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. I'm just missing mountains right now. It's been a long time. So try. I have a friend right now actually who says that her latest inspiration has been the counsel she's received from heaven has been get to the mountains, spend time in the mountains. And so she gathers up her children. She's got 7 or 8 or something like that, and put them in their big passenger van and just get up there. And oh gosh, that's beautiful, Laura. Unmute.
Sorry, I couldn't get it to mute. So that is like Little Shasta, and you can't see Mount Shasta because it's in the clouds, but look at those mountains and snow. The kids went to the snow and there's like 10 feet of snow up on the mountains, and they moved up here and they chose this spot because it never gets snow. But they have been proven wrong, or the people that told them that have been proven wrong. We've got snowed on, we've got rained on. It has been absolutely magical. So it's been fun. In fact, my kids have never been in the snow like they have experienced here. And who would have thought in, the last week in March, the first week of April, that we'd come up here and they'd have a snow experience. So it's been really fun.
I love it. And I love that you see that as magical. So that's so great. I love it. Okay. Other thoughts, other topics, other adding to this topic, anything you guys want to talk about?
Let's see. I just wanted to show you the mountain that's by me. Let me turn the camera around. So I'll kind of hard to see. It's really white. So there's no snow on the grass right now, but there is snow on the mountain way up there. So there's a little snow. There's a teeny bit of snow on the grass right there, my daughter said.
Cute. Oh, the mountains are beautiful, Mary. Thanks for showing them. And they are so white. They're just covered in snow. I've been looking at houses that are up in Northern California, up in Tahoe and around Mammoth Mountain and those places. They have had more snow than they have had ever, record snow. So they've had 58 inches in one of the places, 70 inches in another place. I mean, snow that has stayed. And so they've got crews coming up from other places, even from other countries, working to help dig tunnels down to their front doors and dig and clear the snow off their roofs and things. It's crazy. It's crazy. We'll be skiing through July is what the word is. So that's amazing. That's a lot of water. We've been blessed with a lot of moisture. So that's amazing, but it is beautiful. Okay, later go ahead, Sarah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to change the topic entirely. Yeah. So you by all means.
No, so was I. So go ahead.
Oh, cool. So I was kind of feeling like this is just like, when it's your normal, it doesn't feel like it's worth sharing. Like, it's just like, it's just what I do. But since hopping on this call, I've had this on my mind that I could share it. So I'm just going to share away. On the topic of music, I have been teaching children's music classes for the past year or so and having a blast. It's been so fun. I love teaching children's music. Not like an instrument in particular, though, I know how to play the piano, so I'm kind of teaching piano primer basics. But it's mostly just singing and rhythm and clapping and using shaker eggs and just all those fun foundational basics. And yeah, we've had so much fun. So I wanted to share some of the books that we've been using too. Just things that we've been having fun with. So I'm going to turn the camera around if I can figure out how to do that. So here's my little setup here. This one has like foundational piano stuff, and I use it. I actually took out the pages. Whoops, I'm gonna make a mess. I took out the pages and put them in a binder laminated because I use them so much. They have little exercises, little activities, and then these pictures are so fun because you don't have to have any piano skills at all or any instrument skills to just make a sound. And so we take turns looking at the sounds or looking at the pictures and then playing one of them on the piano. So I could make like a hopping sound with the bunny going bloom, bloom, bloom. And then the rest of the class can guess like what picture it was. Abby, I'm holding the camera now. And so that's like super low and like bar of entry, like you can do it with any skill level. Oh, dear sweetheart. That's turning it around. So you can do it with like any skill level and still have like a blast with it. And then the other books that I've been using for like children's songs have been this one. This is called First Steps in Music by John Feyerabend. That's F-E-I-E-R-A-B-E-N-D. E-I-E-I-O, kind of. F-E-I-E-R-A. It reminds me of Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but that's okay. I'm sure he understands that I sing his name every time I write it. And this one, the Library of Children's Song Classics. But anyway, it's been, oh, this one is by, oh, it doesn't have an author on it. Yeah, it's just the Library of Children's Song Classics. Anyway, so we just get together and we sing and we do actions. And last night we had a dinosaur themed day. The Feyerabend was called First Steps in Music for Preschool and Beyond. There's also a infant book, but he actually, there are curriculum, like he arranges the songs into like a curriculum map in the appendix. So if you don't want to think about like arranging them, you can do that too. Anyway, so yeah, it's been super fun. We had a dinosaur day last night and sang all the dinosaur songs and stomped around, and the kids brought their little like toy dinosaurs from home. Anyway, so we've just been having a lot of fun with music in my house. Wanted to share.
Sarah, you talked to us about maybe doing that, and you look, now you're doing it. I love that.
Yeah, it worked out great.
That's awesome. And you're sharing this beauty of music and making it simple, helping these moms, these other parents learn that this is something simple and easy that they could introduce and do with their children. I love it. And then bringing it obviously to the children that are coming. So good for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing it.
And Melanie, to answer your question from the chat or the comment about needing piano to be fun, I found that when teaching piano, instead of going for the traditional method books, I really like Meride Winters books. Her name is Meridee Winters. She has some really fun, like almost graphic novel style method books for learning piano, and those can be really fun too.
Oh, that's great having those resources. Thanks for sharing. That'll be good. In fact, I might have you send those to me, Sarah, just to add to the additional list of resources during the music month. So
Can do.
awesome. Thank you. In fact, that goes for all of you. If you have resources that you think, oh, I wish this was on the list of resources for whatever month, share them with me and I can present those as possibilities. So we can see if we can add those. So I love it. I love it. I have been trying to get outside and I've been enjoying it so much. I am a little bit sad to say that as I leave on Sunday, I am leaving orange blossoms just about ready to open. That is gonna kill me because every year that is just the thing I look forward to more than anything else is just I go down, I take a chair and I sit down there right in the middle of all the orange trees and just smell the orange blossoms. So I think I'm gonna miss it. So there are just some things like that in nature that you connect with, and that you want to make sure that you're a part of.
We're up here in this beauty, but we're missing the super bloom and all the poppies and all the wildflowers down there where you are. It's so pretty. I see pictures and I'm like, we're missing that. So there's always something.
No, you're absolutely right. And in fact, Sarah and I were supposed to do that together, and my Sarah, and she's coming in Saturday night at 9, and I'm leaving Saturday morning probably at 8, and so there's going to be no super bloom trip for us this time around, but that's all right. We'll look at the pictures together. It'll be all right. But you're right. There's always something you're missing and something that you're getting to enjoy that other people aren't. So I love that we're sharing. I think that's so important to remember, just like what Sarah said, is just because a thing is normal to you doesn't mean it's not worth sharing, because it is. So often it is. Oh, Seven, you're so cute. I love that. She is here with us with her reactions and her comments. I love it. Oh, okay. We're getting to the end, my friends. 15 minutes. So if there was something that somebody had that they were thinking, I don't know if that's worth sharing, I'm not sure, definitely share. You don't know who's listening that might need that. Or even there are a lot of moms that watch afterwards and they'll message me and say, oh, you don't know how much I needed that thing, whatever it was. Yeah, Melanie.
Yeah, so yesterday I had a win that I'll share. I deal with chronic pain, and so I don't always feel like getting up and moving and going on walks and stuff. It feels like a lot of effort, and I know I'm going to be in pain. So my girls have been really wanting to go on lots of walks and riding their scooter a lot, but they wanted to get out their bikes yesterday and have me go on a walk. And so I was like, okay, fine, but it's just going to be like 5 minutes because I think that's all I can handle. So I did my exercises to help it not hurt quite so much, hopefully, and then got up and we started. And then I found that my daughter's bike tires were low. So then I went in and started looking for the bike pump, and I let and my son came out too. So I let the other two just kind of ride around close by while I had the garage door open. I was looking for the pump, and I pumped up all their tires. And then I just kind of went on this rabbit trail, cleaning my garage and organizing it, because we moved like a year and a half ago and it's still a disaster. And just let them ride around the neighborhood on their own with me close by, they could kind of come back and talk to me here and there. But I made some nice progress finally cleaning in my garage, and I had moments of more pain than others, but I was okay. So they still wanted to go on, more of a walk with me. So it's like, okay, let's finally go. So I went past this gate by our house to this long road that's kind of abandoned, a nice long straight path for them to go. Anyway, so we ended up walking for like half an hour, and I was okay. I was handling it fine. And as they rode off, the three of them fast away from me on this long straight path, I just was overwhelmed with gratitude that my kids can have this kind of life together, homeschooling, that their relationships are as close as they are, that they could, all three of them, rush off and enjoying biking together, and that they can do that and enjoy the beautiful weather right now, and that I could go and be there with them. I don't know. It's just a tender moment that I'm glad that I had. Yes, it's the same road as the ferry shrimp.
Okay, I love that. I love that you shared that. I love that you said yes. You know, when you like everything else about you wanted to say no. And you had good reason to say no, but you said yes. And then I think we get helped along. I think heaven gives us little inspiration ideas. The flat tire, looking for the pump, leading to the cleaning out the garage. Maybe that some of that slow motion and those different things kind of helped your body to whatever. And then you were blessed to be able to go on that walk. I love that. And then I love that you had that I don't know, insight, you know, to be able to appreciate that moment and then to really look at your life and what your children are getting and be able to see the beauty and just the amazement. I don't know, the gift it is to that you're giving your children for them to have these life experiences. This is what their day looks like, you know, or can look like. So I love that. It's so good when we can do that, you know, lean back and have that bigger perspective and see how wonderful and amazing our lives or parts of our lives can be able to have those eyes to see the good. I think that's so important. Yeah,
And I
Laura.
think that brings you back to the question you started at the very beginning of, oh no, my mind went blank. But let me see. Having a plan, but then being able to follow the Spirit and being able to be guided by, you know, like Melanie said, just started this, but then we ended up doing this, and it was wonderful and it was magical and amazing.
I love that you tied it back to that, Laura, because I felt like that was important to share, you know, just that thought, that concept, that reminder, I guess, that it is good to have a plan, but it is so wonderful to be flexible. And it's important that we're flexible so that we can receive those promptings in that direction. And I feel like right now in my life, what Heavenly Father, I was just telling my husband this morning, what he's trying to help me see is that having a plan is all fine and well and good. But what I need you to do most of all is be flexible and do what I'm asking you to do. So I have a plan so that it kind of generally, I eventually get around to all the things that need to be done, but everything goes better if I ask him, what would you like me to do today? What are the priorities?
And you have to have a plan to be moving forward in order for him to guide you. So you have to plan, you have to move forward, you have to, you know, be excited about what you're going to do, but then also be able to be like, oh, wow, look, the garage needs to be cleaned out. And then enjoy that little moment of how it ends up and recognize that, you know, maybe that garage was putting a lot more stress, at least in my life. I know that there's things that you don't realize the stress that it's causing you. And then you like have a moment where it's finally you're able to tackle that thing. And it just happens magically through prayer and help. But it just magically happens. And you're like, wow. And so that weight is lifted that you didn't realize was creating such a weight. Anyway. Okay, I have one more thing to share about our experience with Will. Will is my nephew's name. One day we had gone on a walk, and we had gone farther than we had gone any other day, and he started to have an episode, and I was like, oh no, we're really far from home. And so I turned to my son, who turned 10 while we were up here, and I said, Logan, can you help me walk him home? And he grabbed Will's hand, who was like starting to freak out. He grabbed his hand and just started talking to him. And Logan is a storyteller. He is a talker. And he just started talking to him, and Will just looked up at him, and he was telling him all these stories, like, we could go do this, and then we could go do this, and then we could go do this, and oh my gosh, look at this. And he just quietly walked with Logan the whole way home. And I even took a picture of them. He had Will's hand, and they just walked hand in hand, and he just looked up at Logan while Logan just magically told him all these things. And so he just calmed this I was really worried it was going to be a real, like, how are we going to get him home so that we could calm him the way we normally calm him? And but it was magical moment, magical. Anyway,
I,
tie that. I don't know how to tie that back, but
no, no.
I,
It-
I felt like I should share that moment. That was just amazing.
I love it. And I love that Logan was part of that. I mean, really a huge part of that. Ah, and that is a good thing too, when you allow your children to be who they are and to use the gifts that they have. And I love that because how I'm sure, knowing you, you've also told Logan, that that was such a great thing that he did. And, he's been appreciated for that gift that he has. So I love that. Wow, that's amazing though, considering the kind of breakdown that you were anticipating, because that is what happens. And then it didn't happen. So, wow. And I do think nature has a big part to play in that. And then us following the spirit, you following the spirit to, oh, I'll ask Logan.
Yes, yes, good job finding the message. But it really was following the spirit, and then Logan just being who he was, that he was able to just make Will calm down and be like, oh, these are excited, this is exciting, okay, this is great. It was, yeah, those moments, tender moments, tender
Yeah,
moments.
right. Well, and then you are employing nature and storytelling.
Mhm.
I love it. Anybody else? Any other thoughts you want to share, Melanie?
Just a thought. I don't know your sister-in-law's experience, but maybe sharing some of those experiences might help her in building some strategies as well.
That's a good idea. I know she doesn't have the older kids to help, but and then they live even further up north where to go outside is a big ordeal, but lots of rain and stuff. But you never know. Never know. Thank you, Melanie.
I love that idea. I love that thought. And it might be a slow sharing, over time. But and I love that you're swinging, Laura. It's just it's just very I feel very
Well, I'm
calm.
hot. I don't want to go back inside.
I love though when we follow the spirit and do things that we're asked to do, even when we think I can't do that today. It works out okay. Yesterday, I've been aware of a lot of things that I need to get done over the next couple days, and I have been sick up until the day before yesterday, like very sick and really not had energy to do anything. And I've just been thinking, oh, this is not good. I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks or something. I have things I need to get done. Well, yesterday, a neighbor invited all the neighbors down to a kind of a pre-sale for her estate sale. They're moving, well, they've moved, and they're getting rid of the rest of the things in the house. And I messaged her to say, it was one of those things where you do it, and then after you do it, you think, why did I do that? So I messaged to say, do you need any help? And then after I sent it, I thought, oh, what did you do? You don't have time. You can't do that. And you just barely started feeling good. This is not smart. And I knew that I was going to be canning yesterday, and I had to have the energy to be canning. And she said, "Oh my goodness, that would be so great." And then when someone responds like that, oh, I'm really going to be helping. Like this isn't a little, I'll run down for half an hour. So 2.5 hours later, I came back home, and I felt amazing. I the whole time I was there, I thought, this is what you're supposed to do. So just go do it. Go cheerfully do it because it'll work out. And then I didn't know how long I was going to stay. And then I stayed until I felt like you can go home now. And I thought, okay, thank you. And so I said goodbye and came home. And I'm trying really hard to stop worrying that what I want isn't happening. because that's pretty much how I've responded to things in my life. You know, I'll like, okay, I'll go ahead and do this, but I'm not getting this done. You know, this other thing isn't happening, kind of reminding Heavenly Father, you know, okay, I'll do it, but remember that I wanted to do this. So we still have to fit that in somehow. I don't think that's, he probably just went, okay. But now that I'm trying really hard to just say, okay, I'm just going to do it. And then what next? Not, okay, now let's get back to my thing, but what next? This is what I have down. These are the things I need to do. Maybe not today, but before, you know, some date. What do I do next? And then being okay with that answer. It's been working okay. So it's taken me a long time to gain enough confidence to really try to turn that all over. Right? I've turned over most of it, but I'm always holding back something. And I really want to not hold back anymore, to just give all of it. So I don't know. That's my current project. So I would highly suggest learning this lesson earlier in life rather than later. I think it will serve you very well. But anyway. I loved this discussion. I've loved all of the different parts, all of the ways that things just kind of, I don't know, just intertwine and new thoughts come in and other lovely things. And we just spend this time chatting for a little while. It's been nice. So thank you for being here. We don't have, unless somebody has something they want to share as a wrap up. I'm just looking to, there we go, Sarah.
Well, just with this conversation about how the Lord leads us, I mentioned earlier in our conversation about a dinosaur lesson that we had last night, and I have to admit that wasn't me planning the dinosaur day. That was, so I typically have a plan that I make, but last night I was making my plan, and I had the thought to start with a dinosaur song and to bring one of our dinosaur picture books to the class to maybe incorporate into one of our other songs. And so I was just like going with it. And they knock at the door, this cute little family, and each of them is carrying a dinosaur. And the mom said, oh, this was their bribe to get them out of the house, is that they could bring one toy, and they chose dinosaurs. Yeah. And so it worked out so perfectly. It was like heaven just wanted them to be involved, wanted them to be on board, and just was like, Sarah, maybe you should start with a dinosaur song. And then it turned into like every one of our songs, we like incorporated a dinosaur into it somehow. And it was just a blast. So yeah, following those little ideas, even after months of just like making my own plan every day. That was not, I can't claim that happens like every single time. It might, I guess. Maybe I have thoughts that I don't know are heavens, but yeah, just being flexible and going with it. When I was probably going to do like a springtime cute flowers and seeds and bunny song day, it was fun anyway. It was a dinosaur day and they were super engaged. So
I love it. I love it. And I love that, as Laura said, you had a plan first. You know, you go through usually and you have a plan, but you're open to something else happening.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love it. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Thanks everybody for being here. This was nice. That's good. I hope you have a really lovely weekend and a lovely Easter Sunday. Such a blessing. So many things to be grateful for. And I don't know, I've shared posts all week with just some pictures and some things about each day. And it's all from the April Liahona. It's just, there's some beautiful things in there. For those of you who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that's a magazine that we know about. Anybody else that isn't, that's something you could access. It has beautiful pictures and hymns and talking about each of the days of this past week and things to focus on as we're moving our way toward Easter Sunday. So anyway, I'm so grateful for all of you. It's been good to be together today. Thanks for coming.